Good morning, Anona family. Great to see you today for this daily devotional on this Wednesday, September 8th. A little late getting it out, but it should be there, so hang tight. I'll get it to you. We're going to be talking today, continuing on our series on Unafraid, called Unafraid, talking about fears that we have. And today, this week, we're going to talk about fear of failure, right? The fear of failure, something that many of us struggle with from time to time in our life. We fear about failing at different things in life. And it could be in numerous things. Fear that we don't apply for that dream job because we're afraid it's just out of reach and we shouldn't even bother to apply for it. Or we might fear relationships or friendships and just simply avoid them because we fear that others may not accept us. Or we might fear our health and just don't bother with improving our diet and exercise because, you know what, it's not going to matter. I'm going to gain those 30, 40 pounds back just all over again. And so one of the verses I want to lift up for us today is a popular one, talking about fear, one you might be aware of, Philippians chapter 4, verse 13, and it says this: I can do all things through him who strengthens me. And, I remember in my younger years thinking about, that's great, that's the Superman verse, right? I can do all things. I'm going to go out there and conquer the world, and I'm going to be successful in everything I do, because it's all going to be good. God's got this. But there is a reality in life that there will be times when we fail. There will be times when everything that we set out to do is not going to be successful. We're going to have tough times, maybe even times of suffering or struggle along the way. And yet Paul reminds us in this passage that there is good work that you and I are called to do. And we're not called to set that work aside just because of fear. Don't stop in the tracks because we fear what might happen next, but have faith to know that God is there with us through those tough times. Now, doesn't mean that we're going to be successful every time or that, it's not going to be an easy process. But it does mean not only that God is with us, but there are times where we may even grow through those processes, right? And so as I'm thinking about that, I was thinking of, I'm a Star Wars fan, obviously. You can tell with the decorations in the back. I was thinking of the movie The Last Jedi, one of the recent ones, where Luke Skywalker, who was the hero for many of the earlier Star Wars movies, the Jedi hero, he's an old man, and he's old, and he's bitter, and he's angry in The Last Jedi. And we find out the reason why is because he had a young Padawan he was teaching, and he thought he could be the best teacher out there, and the Padawan ends up turning to the dark side. And so, in those moments there, Luke is fearful. He said, I failed in teaching him and was fearful. Didn't teach another Jedi after that, shut everything down, went into hiding, literally into isolation because of that. And there's a quote that young Yoda, he wasn't young, he was old by then because he'd already headed into the whatever heaven is for Star Wars, I don't know. But Yoda appears while Luke is wrestling with this and talks to Luke about it. Says, look, realize that you failed in teaching this Padawan, yes, but you know what? In life, sometimes the greatest teacher is failure. That we learn from that, and it's an opportunity for us to grow. And I was reflecting on my own journey, when I went before the annual conference and our boards to become an ordained deacon. That was a 10-year process for me, and there were a lot of failure moments along the way. Now, they call them contingencies, and sometimes on my bad days, rather than seeing them as things of growth, I would see them as moments of failure. Oh, man, I didn't understand atonement. Oh, now I got to go do all this on that. And what if I don't pass it? Or, oh, geez, now, I don't have a clear articulation of my calling as a deacon. Well, how do I? And so it was some real struggles for me in that process. But what I realized is I couldn't just simply stop and walk away. That I really felt called. And so it was putting one foot in front of the other and addressing those moments and doing the best that I can do along those ways. And knowing that God is with me, that I can do all things. I may not always be successful, but God will be with me in that journey. And God is with you in your journey. So my prayer for you this week is this, is that when you are undertaking a challenging moment or activity or time in your life, whether now or in the future, or even reflecting back on the past, remember that God will not only help you through those difficult moments, but just maybe we may learn something along the way and grow that much more. So until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of God's hand.